Go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everyone to today's session. We'll be talking about Stratum dashboards today, as you can see. Here's the agenda. My name's Adam Kurtz. I'm with Sylvan Software, and I'll be stepping you through the topics today. And we'll be focusing on Stratum's flexible information delivery methodology, which is one part of that is being able to display the data in Stratum dashboard. And as part of the Stratum Data Hub, the dashboard is available without any additional licensing. So we'll look at how you can use that. We'll step into the designer and we'll show you how to build some dashboards today. And we'll take any questions you might have. As part of the Stratum Data Hub, as you can see, the dashboards are up as part of the Stratum Analytics. So again, nothing special to license here. It's just part of the upgrade. So you just want to make sure that you're on the proper release so that you can take advantage of the Stratum dashboard technology. 7.4, we've got new charts that were available and released in the latest version. It's really not the latest version, it's just the prior version to 7.5, which is now available. So in order to get some of the charts that we'll be looking at today, you'll have to upgrade to 7.4 if you're not on that release. Here's just a snapshot of what the dashboard could look like. As you can see, there's different types of graphs that are available. You've got the classic bar charts and column charts. You've got pie charts that are available, donut charts, etc. And then the classical line graph is available, of course. There's some gauges that are available. I'll show you today how you can create a gauge to kind of give you an odometer of how the business is doing, something along those lines. The designer is actually accessed through the new menu there in the upper right hand corner of these versions. So we've moved admin utilities. If you're on an older release, that has been moved, and these utilities are now available in the upper right hand menu. And if you click on that, you can see a menu offering called Manage Things, where you can then gain access to the dashboard menu, and that'll open up a separate browser instance. And that will allow you to then gain access to the dashboard designer, and that allows you to maintain existing dashboards and create new ones. As you can see, when you go into the dashboard designer, you'll get access to the different view groups and the views within those view groups that are available to you. So then you can actually use those views in your graphics and the charts that you'll create. If you don't have a view that suits your needs, you can build one and use that as the basis for your graphing and charting capabilities for the dashboard. You'll be able to drag and drop the view in. You'll select a pre-selection of what type of chart that you want to start out with, and then you just simply drag and drop that in and start designing your dashboard. It's basically just drag and drop, pretty simple to use. There are other options that are available. We'll get into those, but there's an option for you to actually jump to the view behind the dashboard so that you can actually get to the detail as needed. Here we can see within the dashboard designer, you've got the widget settings. So each one of these widgets will have a setting option, and you can hide for instance, if you're just showing a view, because that's one of the options, you can actually just show a view, the data grid. You can, obviously hide the view name, the filter, the image, the paging controls, all this stuff that you may not want in the dashboard because it's just going to clutter it up, and you just want to show the data grid itself. You might include the navigational panel, and that's the nice thing about this is that you can pick and choose what you want to include. I do like the navigational panel. That's something that I don't think really gets in the way there. Down further, you can link content by supplying a URL, Sylvan's website, other views for maybe other detail, and yeah, you can make those relationships in there as well. So the new charts that have been included, they've been added in the 7.4 version, and there's different column bar and pie and line variations that are available. You can also just do a data grid, and I'll show you some of that. It's pretty customizable. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can customize and really kind of make this thing more unique as opposed to just default settings. It's simple and quick, which I love. It's really, there's not much to the learning curve. You go in, you select your graph and drag and drop it in. Sometimes you have to deselect certain things within that view that you don't want to graph. So, going into the settings is pretty key in certain times or certain views that you might want to use for the graphing capabilities. And this takes your charting to a different level, a more up to date level, and uses some of these up to date graphics. There's an edit option that will allow you to go into further options for the widget, the chart that you're using within that widget. And you can edit the chart data or you can edit the chart type on the fly. So if you don't like the chart type that you selected, there's no worries, you can always change that. Here we can see also that you can select and deselect what the chart should show. If you want to limit the number of columns the chart will render within the area. You can make the chart simple and more concise by just deselecting some of the columns you don't want to chart. That's kind of like, charting and graphing 101, it's best practices of just not including too much detail. And some of the views might have columns in them that you may not want to include. You can, as I said, you can change the chart on the fly. So that's something that's available too. So if you select the wrong chart, made the wrong chart selection, and you want to change that now that you've dragged and dropped it over, no worries, that can be done. Just go into the settings and get into the chart editor, and you can change to whatever you want. You can customize the chart further depending on the chart selection. You can customize the legend. There's several options that are available depending on the different charts that you select. Some charts have more options available than others. And then there's this concept of a custom widget. And this allows you to bring in and select or show something from maybe another website or another dashboard, maybe a reporting services report that you want to render, a Power BI report, whatever it is that you can get to via URL, you can use the custom dashboard widget to get there and show that within the Stratum dashboard. Okay. So if you want to talk about this and if you have some questions about how to use it and what version you need, etc., that's my name, that's my email, and my phone number. Feel free to contact me at any time regarding Stratum. I'd be more than happy to help you out. All right. Let's take a look at the demo of the charting capabilities. We can see that you can use the chart as the home page. So in this environment, I've actually changed the home page over to my dashboard. And this is kind of what my dashboard looks like. And you can see the different variations of the graphs that are available so that you can build these dashboards as well. So how did I do this? How do we build these things? You can, and this is the regular home page. This is probably what you'll see. Once you upgrade, you'll get the Stratum the Sylvan home page, which is nice too. Again, you'll have to make the call as to how you want to deploy the dashboards. There's different methods. There's different ways you can do this. Okay. You don't necessarily have to consume the home page with the dashboard. You can create a link to it that users can click on, and then it'll render um, as needed. Okay. So how do we get to the dashboard designer? Again, that's up here in this upper right hand menu. Some people call it a hamburger menu. It looks like a hamburger. We can see that once I hover over that, I get some options that are available that I can select. The dashboard menu is actually under manage things. And so if you highlight the manage things option there, we can see that the dashboards menu option is available. So let's go ahead and make that selection. And then it takes me into the dashboard designer where I can click on pre-existing dashboards and they will render the view and show me what the dashboard looks like. This particular dashboard is using graphics and data grids directly from the views, which is still available. It's not using the new graphs and charts that are available. So we'll take a look at that in a second. But yes, you can use just straight up views and some of the graphics within those views within your dashboard. Yes, of course. Here we can see other things that, let me click on, here we go. I think it's this one here. Here we have actually a Power BI report. So I'm using the custom widget to show a Power BI report in my dashboard. And that's a great way to show a Power BI report within Stratum. And I built this using the Power BI connector. So this is something this is also available. That's what I love about the dashboarding capabilities that you've got options of showing the data within Stratum. This is a really cool one. And, obviously when you make selections within Power BI, it shows you, kind of the different selections that you make. It filters the data and shows you what the data represents, which is really cool. And you can use the drill through capabilities that Stratum provides within the Power BI connector. I can create a new dashboard. I happen to have a blank one here, but you can always click on the plus sign and it'll ask you to name one and it'll just create a new blank one down there on the bottom like I have here. So I'll just use the one I have here to basically create a dashboard, from scratch, maybe throw in some things here so you kind of get a grasp the idea of how you can feasibly use this to build your own dashboards, right? So here we've got a blank area. The first thing I want to do is click the edit button here, and you'll get a tip, which is nice. Obviously, it kind of shows you what you're supposed to do. How do you, make the selection for the graph type that you want. So it gives you obviously a quick tutorial on what you need to do here to use the designer. Now I've got the different graph types over here on the top area of my designer. All my views are available to me here down below. We can see that I've got access to the different views that I've built within my environment. And so now I can take and use some of these views. I'll go ahead and start out with just the column chart, and I'll bring over comparative sales, and it will chart by default. It's going to chart everything within this view, which is not what I want, but it shows you how quick and easy you can get going, right? So now it just charted, although it charted everything within the view. Now I can go in and make the selections that I wanted to actually chart. So I would actually go into the edit this item to do that, and I can go into the edit chart data and I can make the selections that I want here or deselect some of the items that I don't want to chart. There's no deselect all yet, but I'm working with development on getting something at least on the list for that, because you might have multiple columns there that you want to reduce it to. But once you get the columns or the measures, I should say, that you want to chart within the view available, then obviously, it looks a lot better. So it's something that I'll go ahead and so I'll close that out. The chart will then re-render, and I can resize if I want and refresh it. And yeah, it looks pretty good. So that's a very simple way, obviously, that you can go in and create a quick uh, widget, refresh it, if you like how it looks. Um, and then you can move on to the next dashboard item that you want to create. So, again, you can select a bar chart. You can come in, or if I wanted to change this one on the fly further, I can make those changes within the chart type. So we know how to deselect the different things within the view that I don't want to chart. And then if I go into the chart type option there, I can see that I can change the chart type on the fly as well. So if I don't want the column, maybe I want the bar chart look and feel, then I can go ahead and make that selection. And, on a dime, I can make, those changes. Um, these charts are informational. So if you hover over these, you'll get the data points and who they represent. And that's nice too. So just don't, you can interact with these. You cannot drill down yet, so that's not available. But you can go to the view if you want to jump to the view. You can actually get, if I open up this, you'll see this little menu option, and I can open the view behind that chart, and it will actually run the view. So here's the actual view that I based the chart on. And yes, at this point, then you can do your drill downs because now you're just basically in a view at this point. So so that's nice. You can the users can get to the view behind the chart, and they can interact with the data as needed or get the detail that they need. Now maybe I want to add maybe a little pie chart over here on the right hand side. So I can do the same thing over here, select my pie chart, and then make this. I can even use the same view if I want. Now the same view is going to give you the same dimensions and whatnot. So obviously you can use a different view. Here I'm just trying to resize this and kind of make this fit a little bit better. There we go. Okay. And I'll do the same thing here, right? So I'll go in, edit the data that I wanted to chart. Maybe I just wanted to chart out the rolling 3 month, you know, measure. And this being that this is a pie chart, I just really need one measure item to select here. That one's not better. So again, I can hover over this. We can see Farm Fresh driving well, obviously that's telling the same story over here. But what's nice is some of these smaller ones, you can kind of get a feel for what they are too. It's very precise, and it renders a lot better than some of the charts that we had within the views. So yeah, it's pretty easy to use. Again, I can edit these title headings as well. So if you wanted to rename those, you can do that. Um, there's all kinds of different things that you can give it a different title. You can give it a different background, different fonts. It gets pretty deep in terms of, if I want to make this 3D, um, is it a donut hole? You can do different things, and now it's a 3D pie chart. So you can go into the settings and really kind of tailor it as needed, based on what you want to create. Um, Here I've got a chart. So on my other dashboard, my production dashboard, as you can see how pretty and concise it is. I am using different views here. So, obviously I'm telling a story. Here's my comparative sales um, view that I'm using that we just used. So that looks nice and neat and clean. Here's my pie chart, but it's based on what my customers owe me. So this is account receivables coming in. We can see Wilder Foods division owing the most money in terms of AR, Harrington's and Good Foods owing us the good chunk of the money there. And just different variations, of how you could chart the data. Here we can see sales dollars by the different uh, product types, or the bar chart version of that, in a sales comparison bar chart. Here's a line graph by division. So a top level line graph of how the divisions are performing throughout the year to date. If we look at the view behind this particular graphic, we can see how the view was constructed. Here we've got the divisions up here on the top axes, and then we've got time here on our rows. And it's just showing the sales amount for both of the divisions there. So that's how you would build that graph. If I go in and uh, make those selections as a line graph, and obviously if your view looks like that, um, you'll be able to build a graph similar to this as well. Pretty simple. And then the gauges are available. So here we've got some odometer style gauging going on for gross margin. As we can see, the gross margins are pretty similar, roughly around 24% gross margin for both the grocery and the service division. And you can, again, I can actually show you that within the designer so we can see how that's set up. So if we go to the gauge, we can go into edit. We can see here in the gauges that if I edit that, and then edit the chart, we can see that the gauges are selected, and then we can tell it what the min max is and what my ranges are for the colors of the gauge. So, zero point 0.4 to 1, 40% to 100% is in the green. The yellow is 0.2, 20 to 40. And then the min would be 0 to 20%. So, as we can see, both divisions falling within that range of the yellow range there, because they're obviously between 20 and 40%. Pretty simple. And then you can mess with the ranges and the numbers to get what you need out of it. What does the view look like behind this? We take a look at that. Nothing special. It's just, again, just the gross margin amounts and by division. And then obviously, the user can get to the view behind the chart, and then they can do the drill downs as needed and get the gross margins down at more granular, levels, and see maybe areas where they're not hitting targets for profit, you know, stuff like that, right? If I want to display, so that's how you build them, and there's lots of other options that are available. But these, are the classic options, obviously, and then there's plenty of other areas, that you can really customize, and or different charts that you can pursue. So certainly feel free to contact me, and I can help you, as needed, and get you, at least point in the right direction. Now, if I were to display this, so each one of these dashboards, I can right click and open in a new tab. So that's one of the selections. And you'll notice that it gives you a URL to the dashboard. So you can copy that, and then you can place it, um, you can make it your home page if you want to. So if I go into manage things and then up to application, I can make it my global home page. I can copy and paste that in there, and it will render then as my home page instead of the Sylvan, um, the default home page that I have. So that's one way to get it out and into the user's faces, right? Just make it the home page, like I've done here in my environment. So when they come to the product, they'll see the dashboard as the home page itself. Other things that you can do is you can build a link to it. So if I go into manage things and user link, I can see that I can build a link to the Stratum dashboard, and then make it global so everyone can see it, and then I can give my URL there and then save it to the whatever view group that I want to save it to. Right? And you can have it open in a new window or just have it render within the main frame, which is what I like to do. And then you can go ahead and make that. You can save that away. So then they can come in and then they'll be able to run it from the view group. So I save that in the favorite view group, and it's called Stratum Dashboard. I'll click on that and then it'll run, within the main frame here. So, and then one other way to do that and just deploy the dashboards is by user profile or user profile group. So you can, for instance, for myself, I can make my homepage the dashboard, which is actually what I'm doing, so I don't ruin it for everyone else. So you can assign it by user, or you can also assign that dashboard by user profile group. So if you want to push it out to a group of people, then you can override the home page and make it the dashboard that you just built and save that. So that these group of people, when they come in to the application, they'll see the dashboard instead of the default home page. And here we can see the dashboard that I just put in as the global home page. Right? So that's what I wanted to cover today. And if you have any questions or if you want to contact me, feel free to do just that. Again, you can contact me via email or give me a call. Um, don't forget to come to our different areas here. Customernet.sylvan.com is a really great resource. We've done a lot of work on that. Please go to that site. You can get all kinds of product information, announcements, etc. So don't forget customernet.sylvan.com. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for their time today. I appreciate your attendance, and again, don't hesitate to contact me. I'd be glad to walk you through this or anything else regarding Stratum. And we'll just have a great rest of the week and enjoy the weekend as well. We'll see you on the next Insight